Hi guys.
Hi,
Look out for
everyone.
Tanya, Lunatic Ma, and me. Woo! Oh,
Hi everyone.
And it's live on Froggy, Lunatic, or Lady
Lunatic Ma.
Abraxas and Abraxas.
Today
Okay.
we are going to discuss
Animal abuse.
animal abuse, animal cruelty, and our opinions on it. And if you're in the situation of finding an animal that is being abused, how to get them back to health, because I will tell you now, a vet will kill your dogs.
Yes. Not
Because go ahead,
Go
mom.
ahead.
not everyone does care about animals the way that people, when you get yourself an animal and then when you actually care, you care for the animal like it's your own child, because that is your part of your family, and that's how it should be. Instead, just treating it, oh, it's just an animal. No, it's not just an animal.
Here's the thing. Like when in Tanya's case, she had somebody that said they would take care of the animal, right? Then they turn around. Oh, we don't want anything, like any money or anything like that. We're doing it because we love the animal. We want it to be safe and everything. And then the next minute turn around and say, "Well, I ain't got money for this, and this. My kids have to go without. It's Christmas time and all this other crap." And when she didn't get the money that she wanted to get from Tanya, she turned around and threw the dog to a shelter to have it like put down. And it
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
right for the dog. It wasn't the dog's fault,
Well,
and it
and
wasn't because Tanya had people that were supposed to help, but then they all backed out.
Right.
here's my thinking on this one. Okay, we didn't listen to a vet. We listened to our gut on what our dogs needed. Okay, our dogs needed small meals so many
That's right.
times a day so that they could gain that weight or get their stomach stretched a little bit. But we didn't feed them small meals every 2 hours. We didn't give them a lot of Pedialyte with Gatorade because that can increase the sugar levels in their kidneys.
Right. Right.
We gave them water. We gave them slop in the morning and 2 bowls throughout the day. And then again in the morning, slop and then 2 bowls. We made our own slop, and what I'm calling slop is literally a mixture between rice and oatmeal and carrots and green beans, all the healthy nutritions that they needed with an egg. And
Yeah.
all my dogs got it. Not just two, because we didn't want to play favoritism because that can cause an issue. All my
Mhm.
dogs got it.
Right.
Cocoa Chopper, um, Tank, Ghostly, and BB. They all got it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Sometimes you just have to look at it like the older dog, she's got really like bad arthritis and back legs. So I actually got her some like medicine that it helps with the joints. So I usually do give her that, and I try to help her with the food because, again, the older dogs, they actually cannot chew hard food because their teeth are also bad and everything. So that's why you should always pay attention. The way you take care of your child, the same way you take care of your animals.
Yep.
Exactly.
Now,
And
oh, go ahead, Tanya.
like,
Go.
I if you do find an animal that is being neglected by somebody, step
Hmm.
up. They might be in a depression. They might be physically ill. It might not just be they don't love that animal. There is circumstances behind why that dog got that way. It wasn't just out of hating an animal. Like,
No,
my daughter
sometimes it's
loves
not.
animals and would never physically harm them, but literally having we'll take Precious as this uh scenario.
Right. Now, sometimes it does lead to all kind of stuff. So you have to sometimes make choices and everything. But also, I feel like if you truthfully have like some issues and not able to take care of because there's too much to take care of, you have to make choices of priorities. Then reach
Right.
out to someone and say, hey, I'm not able to handle this animal or this and that. Can someone help me? Or can you provide me with someone that I would be able to give it to, that they would take care of and love the dog?
Well,
That's to reach out. The same way
Right.
when you have issues of your own, let's say, like the way that they say you have a depression, reach out to someone, maybe somebody to just talk to. It will help you to deal with it on a daily basis.
Right.
When animals cannot talk, so we have to kind of advocate for them.
well,
So it's
Right.
it's
exactly. And
really
like
hard.
little P, she went from we were there constantly. All of these dogs went from we were there constantly every day. I was always home. If I wasn't home, Roy was home. If Roy wasn't home, Jordan was home. If Jordan wasn't home, Shani was home. There was always somebody in the house.
Right.
To only my daughter there, so she felt abandoned and neglected by us because my daughter worked two jobs at
Right.
that time. To
Right.
us coming back in September, to us rehoming her, and because once again, this lady did not get the money she wanted from my daughter and was mad at my daughter, she told my daughter to come get the dog, which is worse on the dog than anything.
Right, because they get anxiety then and
If you're putting it
everything.
right back in the
So my
situation,
daughter
that's
went
it.
back to
Yeah.
go get her. Now she had so many dogs she couldn't handle it. And like it literally became a we came back in September. So she was all happy go lucky. She was eating for Roy again. And we leave again. And she stops eating.
Yeah, because the dogs, they do know, they do feel like, like someone, doesn't pay attention to them, they get depressed and then they walk away and they don't want it to do stuff. So, like the one,
Exactly. So it wasn't all on my daughter. She had
no,
10
Right.
dogs.
yeah, it's everybody, everything, whatever was going on, it was too much.
It was too much for my daughter and it was too
Well,
much for them.
not
Hmm.
only
Like,
that, you guys had people to take the dogs, right? And then all of a sudden they would just like back out, and
every time
so
I don't
that
want,
just added a lot of stress on her too.
which,
Because she was
and
Yeah.
like,
then,
oh, what am
and
I
then
going
it's
to do?
like, okay, put them in a non-kill shelter. I can say I moved to Council Bluffs and they won't let me have as I need to rehome a couple of my dogs. Let me put them in
Right,
a non-kill shelter.
right.
Well, my daughter
Now,
didn't want to do that because she felt like she was failing us, which
I even
kept
told Dante,
running in her head. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. And when you constantly think like that, what happens? You're going to be a failure.
right,
But
right.
because maybe she was already too much in her own head that she wasn't able to reach out to other people, even like to say, hey, I need help. But she was trying to handle it on her own. And that lead to what it lead to, because she didn't reach out for the help at the time, when she maybe, if she would have reached out a little bit earlier, she would not be overwhelmed like that, and the animals would get a proper treatment.
Exactly. Which part of it is my daughter, she didn't reach out.
Right.
Other is the fact she was overwhelmed. That ain't my daughter's
Yes.
fault. Just like
No,
it,
yes.
if she would have called me and said, "Mom, you got to come deal with this," I would have been looking for houses earlier, and we would have found the property earlier, and we would have been able to have all of my dogs.
Right.
But in the end, it's better that we don't have all of my dogs because right now, two of my dogs really need the attention.
Yeah.
And at night they come in here. During the day they go out there. At night they go out. They get out of their kennel, and during the day they get put in their kennel because we wanted to segregate them so that way, if there was a cold or anything that these dogs have, those dogs won't get it because those dogs are really, you know, they they're really healthy, and we don't want all of the dogs to get sick,
Right.
Right.
which is
My
under which is if you ever take in a dog, please make sure you quarantine them, even if it's your own damn dogs. But because they
Right.
were segregated for, or they were separated for so long, I think 5 months. Um, that segregation is important because they could have caught something up in Harlan that we don't have down here in Texas, and if we
right.
had to rush them to the vet, we didn't want all of them to get sick.
What are you doing?
Right. Now I like to watch that Pitbulls and
Okay.
Prolies, right? And I even told Tanya, I'm like, cause she's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, contact Pitbulls and Prolies. I was like,
Here's I did contact them. And you know
I
what
know.
they said? They're only taking emergency cases in California right now because
Oh,
every
yeah.
animal shelter is overpacked.
In
Right.
California, in Louisiana,
Ca-
No,
they
everywhere pretty much. It's a lot
everywhere.
of
I
animals that
oh
they bring
I
to
know they
abandon.
have one. I know Tia has one in Louisiana,
No, they
and
don't.
then I know Texas, but
No,
I didn't know if they still
the,
had California or
they
not.
just they moved it all out to California because they needed the space, and the only space they could get was in California. Um,
Oh,
but the reason there's so many dogs out there nowadays is because of breeders.
yeah,
Everybody
Right.
keeps
And
breeding their dogs
right,
repetitively.
but sometimes they just don't care of the well-being of the animals because they don't care where they end up, and then it's too much, and then it's just really overwhelming, and that's when the people are selfish. That's how I feel, because even if you do feel like, oh, you're going to put the animal to non-kill shelter, but if they are not getting adopted, the cost of keep up with all the animals and everything else, it's a lot of money. So eventually they do end up putting those dogs down. So
Well,
it's
if
just really
anybody is in
hard.
Nebraska that has room for a dog, there is an amazing service dog up there in the Omaha Rescue Center.
Mhm.
You could get one of my dogs.
Right,
that
because
were
see, like
her
that's
That's
when
where Harley is. Yeah.
found her. Okay, cool.
No, I haven't found her, and that's what's scaring me. Is they said they took her to a vet, but I also know they said that their uncle will put her down with a bullet. So,
oh my gosh.
did they take her to a vet, or to the animal shelter, or did they put my dog down?
Were they just saying that? Wow.
Yeah. No, it's really hard because, like, the same way right here, we have a lot of stuff, but then also they do have like a nonprofit adoption that they just like when you go and adopt, like, they sometimes they just have like organizations that they do, and the thing only they want is to pay for the boarding, like when the dog has been sitting there, so they don't charge you like too much money to adopt an animal. And that's how we got our animals from the shelter, not from the shelter, but they were actually like from JJC, which is a college, and they have these animals that they bring into for the kids who wants to go veterinarian, like they study. Then they
Mm,
teach them how to handle it, how to take care of those animals. And that's how we got the our dog, the one that is older. We actually got her from there because somebody tied her to a tree outside and was burning her with cigarettes, and somebody called on it to remove the animal. So when they did put her in the place, then the kids actually at the college, they were taking care of her, and she was on medicine, so we couldn't take her home for a month because they were giving her medicine to get better. And then since then, 17 years, we had her since then.
Wow.
Exactly. And people who fucking burn dogs with cigarettes
It's
need to
sad
be
when
put
people don't care
down.
about animals.
Watching that pit bulls. It's actually called Villalobos Rescue Center. But when I'm watching the pit bulls on Pearlie's television show, that shit makes me bawl. I cry all the time. I don't know how many episodes I've watched over and over again, and I'm always crying. And Claire's like, "Mom, you've seen that one, right?" And I'm like, "I know, but it's so sad. Leave me alone."
Yeah, no, I like my kids always, laugh at me and they like, oh my God, don't tell mom about these animals, don't show mom because this and that, because she's gonna bring all that home. And I'm like, yeah, because I feel bad. I would take all these animals at
Well,
home.
that's my dream. If we hit the lottery or something really big, I'm gonna go to Villalobos and I'm gonna get a couple of older senior dogs because everybody seems to want the puppies. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
and
yeah,
the other dogs are still nice and they still have life and they need some attention. And it's just really hard when everybody's like, oh, or they go to a breeder. Breeders charge between 25 to $5,000 for a dog,
yep,
and it's like a 8 week old little dog. And I'm like, you got
yep,
to be kidding me. You're not guaranteeing me nothing. You don't. I don't know what kind of a place you're running. And what
right.
about I'm going to adopt this baby from you, going to pay you the $5,000, and then a month later the poor dog's going to die because it's sick and you didn't say nothing. So that's really unfair. But if you go to a shelter and they will tell you, because they being checked by vet, they being all everything is like, the shots that they've been given, how many more they need, and this and that, and they will let you know. So sometimes it is better to adopt a older, little bit older dog or cat, because it depends who likes what. But I really would like that everybody should look into it. I understand that little puppies are cute because yes, you can buy, like, especially when some people have, like, when they have kids, then they feel like if they adopt a little baby dog or they baby cat, then it grows with the child, that they get attached to each other, and that's fine. But also you can also adopt and little animals, like young animals, at the shelter, because of course they still, they find these animals that they sometimes they don't even know that they were pregnant, and then they have a litter of kittens or dogs and they have to give them away. So
Yep.
that's the only thing that I would really encourage. Like, if people would wanted to, don't go to a breeder. I understand. Okay, fine. That's your preference. Go ahead, do whatever hell you want to. But all the other animals, they need love, and they are very good with everything what they do. And how you treat your animal, the animal will treat you back.
Exactly. And like my animals, you can ask anyone, I don't know how many times they have seen where I'll literally be sitting here chilling, eating a cheeseburger, and right alongside me, my dog has a cheeseburger too.
Yep.
Well,
Like, if I eat something, my dogs must eat it too. So,
yeah, that's
um,
how my
we're,
husband is. He gives the animals his food too. He shares with them.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's not good. They're gonna die. No, they're not gonna die.
honestly, my grandpa had a dog that only lived off of human food. Like
Um.
Right.
they would
No,
make
because
a plate for this dog and it would sit up on the
right.
chair and eat with the family. And it was it only ate human food, never ate dog food.
Well,
This
because if
damn dog
they
weighed like 90 pounds and it was
right.
a
Because
freaking
if you get the
collie.
dog to used to eating the food, because it's also everything the same way like humans. Like, let's say vegetarians or vegans, if they would eat other food, they get sick. The same way animals. If you only strictly feed them, like, the dog food that is dry food that is bought at the store, and then you start giving them other, then they can get sick. But if you always give them the same thing, they get used to it and they fine.
Well,
Well,
exactly. our dogs got dog food, but they also got human food. But my grandpa's dog lived to be almost 20 years old, and it was like a
Years.
border collie.
Oh my goodness.
And it lived to be almost 20 years old, only eating human food ever.
Yeah.
Like they would make slop for the pigs, they would make and stuff, and the dog had its own little plate at the table. I think my
Right.
Right.
grandma was
Right.
missing having a baby or a child, so she treated it like a child.
Well,
Well,
sometimes,
one night, or the other night, we had spaghetti, right? And Chris got his second plate and he's eating it. And he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have got out of this." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm getting full." I said, "Well, what do you want me to do with it?" He goes, "Give it to Severa."
I did that.
So she,
I'm sitting here eating carrots one day, just chomping away on my carrots. I go in here on a fork. I have a video of me feeding Ghostly on a fork carrots. Carrots are really good for dogs.
no, they are. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
So,
Like,
like, my animals are spoiled rotten. And that's how all of my animals were. They were all spoiled rotten. So, when we weren't there to give them the love and the affection and all, the dog food with the human food, my daughter got to the point where she couldn't deal with it because they're picky ass dogs.
right.
So now we make our dogs slop every morning and then they get their dry food. And they know what time it is because at 8 o'clock in the morning, my dogs are going nuts for their slop.
Right, because they already got used to it when they fed, and they know that they're gonna get. That's why the same way I got used to my dog, the older one, because she's got hard time to eating like the dry food. So I mix it with the soft food, and she knows it. So she's like a clock. She knows, and I'm like, hold on a minute, I forgot to give you the soft food. So she just waits there and waits there till I mix it, and then she's ready to eat.
Well, and that's another
oh,
thing. If a dog has any denture issues or anything, you definitely need to make sure you get them either soft food or we found
Mix
that
it, yeah.
well, and my ex-husband's mom was or aunt was a vet tech, and she had a dog that could not have, like, it had no teeth. So she would
Mm-hmm.
take puppy formula like you would at buy for puppies, say, or
Right.
you have to nurse because the mom whatever. She would take puppy formula and mix it with hard food. So she got extra nutrition and vitamins, and then she would sit there and mix it up and wait for it to get soft and then smash it all down. But that's the only way that dog would ever eat food is because of that way.
Yeah,
yeah,
someone asked if it is good to give a dog a chicken bones. It's not good to give a dog any bone unless you know that it's like a very soft bone because they can choke on it and their throat can get scratched and everything else, and they can have a lot of problems. So,
yeah.
not
It's
really.
not good, but we do it all the time.
No, but I'm saying because if you know that the bone from the chicken, which one is like a soft, bone, like,
Yeah,
from the wing, everything, so they can chew it, then yeah, it's okay. But if that bone is harder, so when
like
they
the
do crack,
spine bone or
yeah,
whatever.
when
Pork
they
or
do
whatever.
crack it, it could go that, that's
It
sharp
could
because it's
splinter.
hard. Yeah, and it's like a splinter, so it can mess up their insides and their throat and everything. So that's not good to give.
Yeah, we give
I don't
our
give my dogs. I yell at everybody, whoever always like, oh, it's just a little bone, it's just a little wing. It's just a no. Your ass gonna eat the wing, and the poor dog is not.
Right. The way I
I
see
don't
it,
want them to get sick.
if anybody ever abuses an animal, I think they should have the same treatment that they did to that animal. I mean, like I had a sister in
well,
law I'm not even
what are you classifying as abuse? Because like I said, there are situations where a dog is malnourished, which is technically considered abuse, and according to the shelter, not having them up to date on shots is considered abuse. But I know a lot of people that do
that's
not
not
have their
abuse.
dogs up on shots because some people don't believe in shots.
There
Right.
is so many situations when it comes to shot. Like you may not have money to get the shot. You know, it's like either get the dog a shot or buy me food. You know, I mean,
Right.
a normal person is probably going to choose food because you know you can't live without food, right? If
Right.
you've got to wait a couple months or whatever to get that dog shots, that's what you got to do. You know,
Yeah.
but
Well,
the
the
kind
only
of
time I feel like the shots should be given is only if there is a dog that it's a big breed and like the temperament shot, so then they are not aggressive. That's the only shot that I would ever consider to be able to be given to the dog.
like
Anything else, I don't think it's necessarily, because that's the same way like people don't believe that they should vaccinate children. Well, that's the same thing with animals. So
right.
Well,
I
and
just feel that they
I
should not be
understand
aggressive.
the temperament shot, but I also understand the rabies shot. Unless your
Right.
dog is an inside dog and like there is no other, they don't go outside,
Right.
then your dog does not need rabies shots. If your dog stays in that house and never goes outside, it does not need rabies shots.
Right.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the only one that I feel like the bigger dogs that they have little like more of a temperamental thing, so they can even
Right.
get aggressive with your family, and especially like when you have kids or anything. So yeah, that would be kind of recommended, that for your own well-being and your children, if you have children at home, because the bigger dogs, and they when they start getting older, they can kind of start getting possessive, that they like territorial. So if you do something or touch something, then they might get aggressive with you, even with
Well,
they
and
know people.
that's on training too.
It is, but sometimes even like the dog might not feel well, and you not even know because it's not showing like a big signs that you will recognize it. And then if there is children at home, and then the child goes and maybe pulls on an ear or on a tail or on a leg, and the dog is already not feeling well but just laying there.
Are you
Oh, look
talking
at
about
that.
that breed? That's my Harley Quinn. That's the
No,
one
no,
that we
that's
don't
not
know where she's
no.
at right now.
Oh,
But
no,
yeah,
but I'm talking about
tell
like
me that
we
dog
had
ain't spoiled.
we used to have a bull mastiff, our daughters, that is pretty big dog, but that was the best shots, because one time we didn't even know that he wasn't feeling good, and Kyle was little. Oh, look at that. And he went by him and just lay by him and like kind of grabbed him by his ears, and he kind of like snapped, but he didn't bite him, but just like like let him know that, and it went to his face, like more like pushed him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? So then we kind of were trying to figure out what, but when he went outside, I guess he stepped on something and his paw was all swelled up and bothering him because he scratched it on the bottom of his paw.
Yep.
So when Kyle went bothering him, and he wasn't having it because he was just trying to relax to heal his own paw. So that's the only reason I'm saying, like, sometimes the temperament shots that kind of helps to calm the dog down.
Right. But at the end of the day, we we need to understand that some people have circumstances where they can no longer take care of the dogs, and there are a lot of people like I myself that is afraid to ask for help. Like
Right.
I'll ask Chris and Missy, but it takes fucking me swallowing my pride to ask anybody else.
Right.
No, that's I think everyone, because you feel like if you have to take care of something, that you should be able to take care of it. But sometimes you run into a situation that is not expected, and then you're like, oh my God, now everything is right there and everything needs an attention. So sometimes you have to go above and say, okay, well, if I'm not gonna try at least to ask, how am I gonna get any help?
Right. Right.
Exactly. I
Now,
think it
around
says should each state have a law about what is done with your pet's body when they die. I think they should make cremation free for pet owners. Since how there is a lot of people that have pets, I think it should be free or cheaper. It is $225 to cremate a golden
Well,
retriever.
right. I think they should not go because they also look at it like how big is the dog or cat or whatever it is, and they go by weight, and then that's how they give you price. I think that they should automatically say, okay, well, we're not going to charge you for this, but if a donation, whatever you
Yeah.
able to give, that I understand because maybe I don't have the $250, but I might have 100, and then that's what I can offer. So that should
Mhm.
be
There
available.
is there is a company. I'll have to look it up after the show. There is a company that will come out to your house, pick up your dog. You have to pay for the transportation, but they have where they you fill out a form and they will pay for your dog to be cremated.
Right.
um, I also know that like different areas. Like when we moved here, and when I first got her, I didn't know she had been spayed, right? And
Mhm.
I called the animal shelter, and I'm like, okay, do you guys have a program where I can get my dog spayed cheaper than paying it
Right.
outright because it was like
Paying.
three
Yes.
hundred dollars that they
Yes,
wanted.
definitely.
And they said, yeah, we have a where you can get half off if you go to this vet or whatever. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay. So, you know,
That's just like shots nowadays. Do you know how much it costs for 3 rabies shots?
yep.
Six hundred
That
dollars
is
for 3 rabies
right.
shots.
Right. Which
Mm,
is that's what I'm saying. And how can people have anything to be able to take care of your animals when that's outrageous money like that? And I understand everything costs, but also
right.
there should be some kind of programs that, hey, like even by the area where you live, okay, if you live in this area, there should be like something discounted that you able to bring stuff, to bring your animals to for checkup, for this, for that. Then you don't have to pay outrageous money to a vet, because like I even wanted to go and have my, like, one of the younger dog, to have her groomed because she won't let me, because when she was younger she got scared of the dry, hair dryer when they were doing that. And now her hair is long, and I try to comb her, so when she lays the one time, sometimes I do comb her hair and I do get it out, but she really does need to be groomed nice, but she's scared. So when I did call, like one time I called the vet, and I'm like, well, my dog is scared of the hair dryer, so she's like panicking. Oh well, no, because we would have to charge you money to put her, like, to give her the shot to calm her down, and then after that, and then we're not going to be able to take her unless you're going to show me proof that she's all up to shots and everything else. You got to be kidding me. So now you're going to charge me $500 to give her all the shots, whatever she's missing, because I know I didn't give her all of it. And then now you're going to charge me $175 for the shot to give her to calm her down. And then you're going to charge me $150 for grooming her. No, I don't have $1,000. So you can shove it up your ass.
Well, that's just like if you noticed Ghostly earlier today. He's a long-haired dog, but on his back, which we're slowly working on it, literally slowly working on it. We are sitting there cutting his hair because he's a long-haired dog. He's only
Right.
a year old puppy. He does not sit still.
Right. That's how this one is. And I'm like so freaking.
So,
Sometimes I just wanted to like put her to sleep. Maybe I can give her Benadryl so I can wash her.
well, no, what I do for washing her, put
Hmm.
peanut butter on your tub.
And she would sit there.
She'll sit there and lick it off as you're washing her.
Well, maybe I have
It's
to try that. But she's pretty big. She's like about 100 some pounds. I cannot lift her ass up.
No, no, no. She'll jump in the tub to get to the peanut butter.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have to
Um,
try that.
Because I do that
like
with all of my dogs except for Coco and Chopper. They seem to think that my bathtub and my shower, because I have a stand up shower and a big bathtub, are their potties.
Hmm.
now, when I was talking about Via Lobos, they do have a program like every now and then in their community. I don't know whether I'm trying to say it's California, but I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time. But like they will set up like a mobile vet and they will do the spay neutering right there, and then they won't. I don't think they charge you anything when they
Yeah,
do it.
you could easily take your dog to a mobile vet or call
Right.
around and ask for prices. Like we
Or
Right.
like even with the shots and stuff that I know of, like
Right. I think we
Tractor
do
Supply,
have that, but not
Tractor
in
Supply.
our area. They don't have the mobile because they do have like in our little town that we have we live, we have like five vets. And I'm like, okay, so one trying to outdo other one because one is trying to do this, another one's trying to do that, and this and that. And I'm like, you gotta, and then surrounding areas again, everybody has it, so they don't do that mobile one.
we have
Well,
like
Tractor
15
Supply.
vets here, and literally it's um like one of our family goes to one vet, one goes to the other vet. I'm like, which one's the cheapest? Because homie ain't got $600 for another set of two shots.
Well, if you take your dog to Tractor Supply, you can get their shots and they're cheap. Like I
Yeah,
know
you can
rabies shots.
administer them yourself. You cannot get the rabies shots. That's the
And
fucked up. You cannot get the rabies shots unless you're a vet.
well,
But
Right, right.
Tractor Supply, like they have vet come in once a month, I think,
yeah,
and you can get it for like $20 for the shot. And I'm like, that's
Yeah,
better than going and paying the office call,
right.
plus the shot on top of it. And then they might say, oh well, this don't look right or something, or this dog needs an X-ray, you know.
Yeah.
well, see,
Well,
with
somebody
practice,
asked an interesting question. Another interesting thing is people with pony or pig in their house as a pet. What do you ladies think?
I
Well,
actually knew
I
somebody who had 8 pigs in their house and treated them just like dogs, and they were
yes,
house trained.
like a little, yeah, like a little pig. But about a pony, ponies need a little bit more of a outside. And if you live in an area that you're not allowed to have it, like we do have our association, they even strictly on these freaking ass dogs and everything else. So I don't think that pony would do good in the house settings because you should have something nice outside for
Outside,
that.
a
And
barn.
yeah, like that they would be able to do because they you can bring them in, but I don't think that they would do well in a house setting. And then little pigs, they do have like the little mini pigs that they are like a little dog. So yeah, they can stay in a house. That would be
I
great.
remember, like, when my kids were little, we got the kids bunny rabbits for Easter.
Mhm.
Never again. Oh my God, those things are disgusting. I'm sorry. They're cute as hell, but
Yeah,
no,
that's too much
no.
work on that. Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
definitely. See,
What I was
unless
what I was
people live on a farm, then yeah, they can have all kind of animals because that's how I grew up. We
unless
had chickens, we have rabbits, we had pigs.
unless you put your pig as an emotional support animal, then you can have your pig in an apartment building. Did you know that? You
Yep.
Right,
could
but
technically
I
have a
think that
pig
it
in.
has to be like a certain weight. It's like the mini
Nope,
ones because
nope. You could have a full grown pig
oh my
as
goodness.
an emotional support animal, and they could not tell you no.
I want a little pot belly pig. That damn thing's just so little. Those guys are so cute.
I used to
Oh
have
my
three
goodness.
potbelly pigs,
But you know
and
what? I
they lived
think
in
the
our
fur was
RV with
healthy.
us. They would
That is
walk around
crazy.
our RV. Too bad
The
Coco thought
deer
they
would
were
try to eat it
breakfast.
though.
Yeah,
That's
Coco
all.
thought they were breakfast.
Yeah.
If you ever
When
do need
I,
it.
like I said, when I was a kid, we found a little deer that we had at home. We found a porcupine that we had at home. And my
Oh
mom
my
was like, don't bring animals, don't bring any more animals from from outside because we had our own. We had also
oh
we had
my
a pig
god.
in the house, we had a cow, we had cats, we had
I'm
dogs,
telling you, you
we
did
had
have the
chickens.
cow inside.
There's a
And
lady
then
on YouTube and TikTok that actually has a pony in her house, but she has like a whole entire, or no, it's a cow that she has in her house. But like
a
it's a dwarf
cow.
cow. Yeah, a dwarf cow, so they're smaller. But she has like
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
like
whole
they have like the
entire
little
room.
ones.
She has a
my
whole room that is
my
like
brother
a
drove her.
barn, and then during the day she brings it to outside. But again, she has a whole room that is just like if you were to put them in a barn stall.
Wow.
Right.
Oh
Right.
my god.
Because if you have enough room that you can, make a setting like that, yeah, then no big deal. But like I said, it's just right here, like there's too many rules and too much stuff that I don't agree with because with these associations that they implement now for these freaking s
Oh God,
what
you
kind of
have
a
an
bullshit that
HOA.
is. Yeah, and I'm like,
Oof.
what kind of a bullshit? You're gonna tell me how to live in my home? Then why don't you pay my freaking mortgage?
Um,
I agree, Bob. I agree.
when I was living in Michigan, Chris was working all the time, and I couldn't take the dog to the vet, right? So I would have. There was a lady that was like an on the go vet kind of thing, and she'd come out and she'd give my dog her shots and you know check up on her and see if there was anything she needed or whatever. I thought that was kind of cool because there's not a lot of places that do that.
Right.
So
No, that would be a
especially
little bit nicer if somebody would actually just start kind of looking into it to making a little bit more available and affordable to all the owners that they have any kind of animals because like some
right.
people, we had a guinea pig, we had rabbits, we had cats, we had dogs, and we had hermit crabs, we had little parrots, we had all kind of animals when the kids were growing up. I'm like so done with it.
Well, see,
But
and
now we only have
that's the
cats and
thing.
dogs.
Like, I understand you got to pay the vet, or the vet's got to get
No, it
paid,
is
and all of
right.
that. But at the same point in time, and they got to make a profit. But why is it now that in a year it jumped from like 100 and when Peon got out and ate my neighbor's rat poison, it cost us $135 to cremate him, and I got his ashes. When we cremated Baxter, it was 185 because he was a Saint Bernard Husky mix. He was a big old boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is it now $200 to cremate a dog?
Which is that's what I'm
Right.
saying, like everything. And I understand everything goes up, but what does it matter if it's a bigger dog or a smaller dog? You still have to cremate it the same way. What's the big
Well, they
deal?
say that you use more fuel to cremate
Yeah.
the
No,
dogs,
I
the bigger
understand that it
dogs.
is because yeah,
I could do the cremation at home. Literally, give me a burn barrel. I could do the
right.
cremation at home.
Right.
I could make it
Yeah,
so you could get all your ashes too.
Yep.
right. No,
That's
but
Well,
what
that's
they
why
used to do
everybody's
back in the
trying to
old
make
days.
money.
I
Back in the
remember
old
when.
days, they used to do at home cremations for their animals or bury them in the yard. Now you can't do that because,
Right.
oh
Right.
my God, we have all these technical wires out running across your yard. You
Yeah,
ain't got wires all the way across my yard. There has to be an empty spot that I can bury my family pet. As a matter of fact, Roy Sissy has literally all along one side of her fence is nothing but animals that pass and
And
little
the
crosses.
practice. Yep.
yeah.
Well, I
Like we have
remember.
Homie also has 31 chihuahuas in her house.
Well, See, when Dizzy was sick one time, she had an infection in her ear. So me and the kids, we walked to the vet because it was like right around the corner from where we live. Right, I had to pay like I forget $75 for the office call, $35 for the medicine. That's over $100 just for an ear infection, just
Right.
for the ear. It's like, damn. Okay, you make more money than I spend on my kids' clothes in every year, for school.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's crazy how everything and I, like I said, and I understand because like even when you go to a doctor, everything kind of went up, all the stuff. But again, it should be kind of looked at that. Hey, you know what? That's not as often the way like the kids get sick that you go to the doctor. So yeah, you have to go more often. But animals, yeah, you might take them once a year, maybe two times a year, and it should be a little bit more affordable than trying to like this like make you life miserable because you have to make choices. What can you do? How to you to help your own animal?
And okay,
Well,
now
exactly. It's coming down to the point where do I eat today or do I go get my dog shots today?
Right.
when we had that surgery on the dog, it was $1,200. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, if I wouldn't have had the money, you know what they would have done? They would have charged me to have her put down.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
They will not work with you. They will not take payments. I
Well,
mean,
Right.
because he was a garbage dog, she was throwing up shit she shouldn't be eating, socks, shirts. But any dog's digestion, if they're eating socks or whatever, it will come up within 24 hours.
Right.
well, my
I've
dog turned into a belly goat. So,
I've literally watched my dog Harley throw like I left for an hour that day. And of course she got anxiety because I wasn't in there and she ate my clothes.
Oh
That
my god.
same day she threw up my clothes.
yeah.
Oh.
And it was a social anxiety thing. I wasn't there. I was her person. She was
Right.
my she was my dog. I was her person. That's how it was. So when I wasn't in the room, she was throwing up clothes, or she would eat my clothes and then throw them up the same day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
So
have
we
fun.
thought she might have had what they had, where the it got stuck in the
Yeah.
intestines, but that wasn't the case at all because when she got surrendered, they took her to the vet and there was nothing in her system, which means that it was not from my house that she was doing it. It was from other houses. But now you got to think if they're throwing up clothes and stuff, that's really affecting their um digestive system, and
Right.
they're not
Digestive
going to eat.
system. Yeah, because then it's gonna mess it up and everything else. So it's hard because like even they say like they don't give the dogs the chew toy when they are like chewing on it because if they eat it, it doesn't digest properly. So then they can get sick and everything else, and then sometimes it can get infected because it's sitting in their stomach. So to pay attention what kind of chew toys you give him, or rather to give him some kind of like a bone or something because they can be eaten instead of plastic stuff.
Well, see,
Yeah.
and like
So
I showed you the picture of H with her little pacifier. She
yeah,
would she would never chew on it. She suckled it.
which is she felt the comfort in it, so she didn't want it to destroy it.
Exactly. And
Right.
if you get a dog, you can train them to suckle on it by adding peanut butter to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did it because they'll sit there and they'll, suckle on it, trying to get all that it will
Right.
taste like peanut butter.
Right.
We did that with H's stuff, but like at the end of the day, we don't believe in giving them toys because they chew on stuff that looks like their toys.
Right, and then they can mistaken something else and everything else. So then it's kind of hard because then they can get really sick, and then you just don't want them to causing problems because then they won't eat
Exactly.
regular food and everything else because their stomach hurts.
Well,
So
exactly. And that's why it's important to, I mean, there's a bunch of toys out there for all these dogs. Uh, if you have a dog that will not let you clip their nails, Sissy has a bunch of them. Go out and buy one of those boxes with the sliding lids
Mm,
and add sandpaper to the top of it.
right.
Then put treats inside so they're going to scratch at the box to get to the treat. What are they
Hmm.
doing?
Scratch, cutting their nails.
Exactly. So every time they need their nails
Hmm.
trimmed, you just put the box down and they'll sit there and they'll trim
Right.
their own nails. And it's a
Yeah.
way that you can work with your dog because some dogs don't like their feet messed with.
right,
Yeah,
right.
I
Walk them
I
on
had a
some nice
problem
treats.
with the older dog. She wouldn't let me do it because she pulled her nail out and it was like really bad pulled out and it was healing. So she wouldn't let me touch it. But then finally I actually did like, lay her down and I was like, petting her and everything else and I was like grab one foot at a time and I'm like, okay, let me cut one nail. And then she kind of looked at me. I'm like, it's okay. Just lay here, just lay here. So then I grabbed another one, cut it. And then finally, by the time she realized what I was doing, it was done.
Well, there was one of our dogs, Princess, the one that we had to rehome because it bit my son. All my son's fault. 100% my son's fault. It was not the dog's fault. She bit. Okay. I'll explain
Hmm.
that situation in a second. But we had a friend who gave us the dog and he just rolled her over and sat kind of on top of her. So she was like this and just clipped her nails. The whole
Oh
time
my
she's
goodness.
growling, but she ain't biting. She's just
Oh,
growling as he's
okay.
clipping her nails.
Yeah.
And he goes, sometimes you just have to be in charge. You got to be the alpha.
Yeah.
But no, the reason we had to rehome her because she bit my son, it was my son's fault. My son went to the bathroom. She was a nursing dog.
Oh,
Anybody knows
okay.
what that means? That dog thought
Hmm.
my son was its child. What do dogs
Oh,
do when their children go to the bathroom? They
yeah.
tried to clean the bum.
Yeah.
While she tried to clean my son bit her ear to the point there was blood, which my son
Oh,
didn't get in trouble for, and he learned not to bite dogs.
yeah.
And she nipped at his face.
Oh my goodness.
So he has uh, his real dimples, and then he has an artificial dimple right behind it. So it looks like he
Hmm.
has a double dimple because of it. Because
Right.
the only thing she could do was latch on.
Yeah.
Well, when we got back from the doctors, because, I rushed him to the doctors, when we got back, she was licking his face like, I'm sorry. And they just went to bed together.
Oh.
They cuddled together. But because she had a bite incident, we had to rehome her. Well, my neighbor wanted her. And we're like, look, she has a bite incident. It wasn't her fault. Well, apparently she did not like the mother of this child because we don't know why. And every time he would go to work, she would growl every time the mom went to the baby. Anybody else could go to the baby. I could go to the baby. Anybody could go to the baby, but the mom could not go to the baby, which we think that the mom was hurting the baby.
Right. Right.
Which it did
Which is
come
that's
out that
why.
she was hurting the children. And he's like, that dog saved my baby's life.
Right. Sometimes, yeah, the people have to pay attention how the animals
Yeah,
react because they are very protective, and especially with
right.
babies and children, they are very protective.
Scott, when a dog will sit there and suckle on things, That is the best time to get them a pacifier. And the reason that they suckle is a soothing gesture. Think about it. When they're a puppy, they suckle on their mother for, not just feed, but to calm them down. If they
Mm-hmm.
get taken away from their mother at a young age, at too young of an age, they will suckle on things. And a lot of people think that it's chewing on them, but it's not. You go out, you buy a pacifier that is for their size, like they have all different sized ones. Put peanut
Mm-hmm.
butter on it, and it will it will suckle on the pacifier, thinking that it's the mother's teat. You can get one that looks like a mother's teat, and
Mm-hmm.
it will suckle on that instead of like blankets and toys, because when they do suckle, they have teeth, which can cause holes in blankets and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
nowadays, guys, they have insurance for pets.
yes,
But
they do. And it costs
that
$125 a month to.
is, yeah,
And
it's like,
if they have to have an emergency surgery because they're a goat, it covers all but like 300 of that
yeah,
emergency surgery.
right.
Yeah, but it's like
It's
this is really
but
outrageous.
It's only
luckily, yeah,
125, and I think you can have like four dogs up on that
yeah,
$125 policy. Look around for the cheapest one,
right.
or that will give you multiple dog discount. Um,
Now,
because that's what we had to do.
right. Now, if anybody does need their dog spayed or neutered, and you don't have the money, call your local animal shelter. Normally, they have programs that can help with that stuff because
Oh,
they are trying to like cut down on all these animals.
I know. I
Mhm.
actually got to call and find the cheapest place that spays and neuters because I have five dogs that need spayed and neutered.
And they're all male, female, male, female.
Yeah, like literally, I have two males and three females, and none of them
Yeah.
are fit. Coco is
Oh
too
my
old.
gosh.
Coco is
Call
like
the animal
9,
shelter. Call the animal
so
shelters.
I'm not gonna fix her because it could actually kill her to fix her at such an old age.
Well,
But all the other ones
you
can
don't have
get
the money right now. Sometimes like if
exactly.
there is a tractor supply around you, they do that too. So you might want to call there kind of exactly what they do if you have a tractor supply.
We're gonna wait until after we move.
Because you have more money.
Uh, fuck yeah. Okay, but also that way they have a um A, we'll have more money, but B, uh we're moving at the end of the month. So
Right.
literally
And
you can't tell because nothing is packed, but nothing is unpacked either. If
and
that makes sense, because
So
literally
it's
we
easier
never
to.
unpacked. Yeah, we never fully unpacked. I still have boxes in my room.
I know I dread that. Cause I'm like, cause we're gonna move, but it's like we're gonna have to pack everything, and then we're gonna have to move it, and then we got to go back up north and get all the stuff from up there, and then unpack that.
Well, see,
And
and that's the thing. We're gonna go back up north after we move because
yeah,
we got to recoup our finances, but also at that point in time, we're looking at um the basis of uh definitely thinking. He said thinking says, have you ladies heard of care credit, a credit card for your
Yes.
pet and even yourself,
yeah,
easy to get, ask
Yes.
about. I would do that for prepaid and just put money on it every month.
Yeah,
Um,
they do. They
just
give you like a limit and depends like what you use it for. I usually
yeah.
use it for my prescriptions. So,
yeah. Well, my prescriptions are free because I have the insurance through SSI, and then I have insurance through the county that pays for. the stuff off of
Yeah.
SSI.
Yeah, no,
Like
I'm not
I
that.
felt
Oh,
I felt weird when we had the surgery on her. Okay, we had to go and get her medicine, right? Pain meds
right.
and all that shit from Walmart. And they're like, "Oh, well, who is this for?" And I'm like, "My dog." I felt stupid going in there and asked because I never realized that our medicines were for them, you know.
Some
So
are, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. My mom had to give one of her cats Xanax. Literally, the cat was on Xanax because it was anxious. So every month while my mom's picking up her prescription, she was picking up her cat's prescription for Xanax.
Oh my goodness.
And then she was
so
picking up her cat's prescriptions for its thyroid because it had a messed up thyroid.
yeah,
I mean, they're human. Animals are literally humans on all fours.
yeah.
Right.
Now I know
They
why
just
mom
can't
says my
talk.
four-legged animals, my two-legged animals.
Exactly.
That's why I told you. I said I have two-legged and four-legged animals.
I have more four-legged humans in my house than I do two-legged.
Yeah.
But when we move, there will only be one four-legged in the house. The other four-legged will be outside in half an acre to run. Like we're
Yeah,
Oh, that's
fencing it
gonna be
off so
nice.
they'll have half an acre to run.
That
yeah,
would be really nice for them.
that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, are they going to get along and we don't have to section off two half acres? I'm praying. But because two of them have been in a pack and two of them have been in a pack,
Right.
can they make their two packs collide? I don't know.
Well, they might not. If they go outside and they're gonna feel free, they might be okay to play with each other.
Is football starting?
Exactly.
Is
No,
football
it's
starting?
not time.
Oh,
We still have
well, I hear
eight
them in
minutes.
their jackets, so I didn't know.
Oh, they're probably getting all excited for football.
Yeah,
Oh
probably.
yeah, they already yelling, screaming here. That I'm like trying to listen what you ladies talk about because they are too loud.
That's okay.
That's
That's
okay, Mom. Football season is almost done.
yes.
Yeah,
Over.
it is. It's almost there. End of it.
Thank God.
Yeah. And I'm
Then
kind of
the but then the baseball starts, so we got a year round.
Oh
uh,
no.
Oh yeah.
baseball. I don't get into.
Oh no, they watch baseball, and then like the way that we have that there's some of them like Matt is a Green Bay Packer, and then the rest of them are Bears. The same way, half of the house is Sox gay the fans, and some of them are Cubs fans. So I'm like,
Oh boy.
So
so
at
they
the
are
end of the day, you're fucked if you do and you're fucked if you don't.
exactly basically, and I'm tired of it because they arguing and like, oh, your team sucks and your team shit. Like, you all
What
suck.
sucks?
I do that shit all the time. Like, no, homie, you suck.
Yeah, because I'm like, just watch the freaking sport. Who gives a rat's ass?
Oh god. Well, according to Dad, you get into football too. So
No, I do because see, like when the kids were little, I kind of coordinated things. Like when the fall begins, the kids would go back to school. The football starts. Like there's something to do on Sundays, and
yeah.
then in the spring again, that it's nice outside, so the kids are almost done with the school, and then the baseball starts. So I'm like, can't win for losing. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
I don't get into baseball at all. I don't. And Dad's
No,
like,
I
oh,
just like to
yeah.
watch the football. Like I just like to watch the sport. I don't understand none of it, and I've learned enough that I don't know all these quarterbacks, but I do know some who they belong to, but
Right.
not all.
Yeah.
And the rest of
But
them, I don't have no idea what they do, what they supposed to do, or who's better, who's worse. I don't care.
um, So any final words, guys? Do you? I don't know what time it is, so
It
I
is
don't.
11:54, so we will let
Oh,
Mom go
okay.
first, as always, because she is the awesomest.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say to everyone who has four-legged animals and two-legged animals, love them all the same because they are part of the family, and everybody should take care of because they're not able to tell us what's wrong or how they feel or everything else. So if you do care about your animals and you pay attention, you will know that your animal needs attention and needs something, and try to find all kind of services that they would help you with bills or whatever. But basically, if you cannot afford or you cannot take care of your animals, don't just throw them out like trash because they are not trash. They need care and to be loved like everyone else. So
And
I hope everyone
if
can
you
do
don't
it.
want a bunch of puppies, spay and neuter your animals. Puppies, kitties. I think you can spay and neuter snakes and reptiles too.
Well, the
But the
small,
easiest ones for snakes and reptiles is don't put them in a cage together.
yeah, or rabbits. Oh my god!
Oh,
I know
they,
where humping like rabbits comes from because I swear to God, we had a male and a female, and I had them all in the same cage. One day I'm going in to feed the rabbits, right? And fire is pulling at my pant leg. I'm like, what the hell? So I pick her up and she goes like that, and I'm like, oh fuck. 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear like, and I go out and there's all these. I'm like, oh shit. I called Chris. I'm crying. I'm freaking out. What do I do? What do? And he goes, put them in the tote. So I got the tote and I put them all in the tote. And he goes, don't put fire or don't put ice in the same one. He'll just get her pregnant again. And I was so tired, my brain wasn't working right. And he's like, where's ice? And I'm like, in the tote with fire. And he's like, what the fuck you doing in me? Sure enough, he got her fucking pregnant again. I'm like, oh my god. So then I put ice in the thing, separate them both. She has the babies. I caught her one day trying to eat one of the babies. I flicked her in the head. I'm like, that's fucking disgusting, right? Chris goes, that's human nature. There was something wrong with that baby. I'm like, that's gross, Chris. I've never eaten my child.
I mean, in the wild they do. But I love y'all. I hope you have an amazing day. Chris, get your ass in here. Um, Thank you for coming to our live. I know we don't really participate with the chat on Sundays, but we
We tried.
appreciate everybody being here. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Off to you, Missy.
Thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate you. Now next Sunday there will be no Lady Outlaws because it's Christmas Eve and we're going to be spending with the family. Well, not me because Chris is going to be gone, but oh well.
The rest of us
Um,
will be spending it with family somewhere,
yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
So we will
But
continue the following Sunday.
yeah, and if you guys enjoyed this and you wanted to talk a little bit more about things like this, let us know because we're up for it. We love to talk about animals because we all love animals. So. But love and light and Chris getting in here. We're done, honey. I think.
Okay, blowhole.
Hey, blowhole.
Hi, blowhole.
Hey, blow the hole.
Hi, thinking. I love you.
Move your feet. Scott's in there too.
Hi, Scott. Is Paula in here too?
I think she was. I don't know.
All of us was in here, yes.
Yeah, Paula's in here. Hi, Mom. Hi,
Okay.
Scott. Love y'all.
Are you guys ready to end this?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Oh.
We said bye. Bye.